Think you understand medieval sexuality? Forget the idea of prudish people hiding behind sheets. Reality was far darker and far more public. In medieval Europe, intimacy wasn't private, it was a public, highly scrutinized spectacle. Imagine waking up tomorrow to find judges demanding intimate medical inspections in court while certified inspectors evaluated your fitness for marriage. One failed examination could ruin your life. Dowries lost. Family honor destroyed. Social standing obliterated. From 1100 to 1500 CE, medieval sexuality was a theater of social control, medical obsession, and bureaucratic terror. Bishops ran vast entertainment empires while preaching moral purity, newlyweds required witnesses to verify their union, and doctors literally prescribed sexual satisfaction. These were not isolated oddities, they were widespread, documented practices across Europe. The raw, unfiltered truth about our ancestors' approach to intimacy will shock you, making modern dating apps seem almost sacred by comparison. We're about to explore 7 shocking levels of medieval social insanity. First, the nightmare of fitness trials, where your most personal abilities became public courtroom evidence. Next, the ceremonial verification, where consummating marriage demanded a literal audience. Then, we'll reveal how bishops profited from entertainment while preaching morality, why medieval physicians treated sexual dysfunction with bizarre remedies, and the deadly health practices that often caused more harm than good. We'll explore love potions that required disturbing ingredients and risky preparation, and finally, the ultimate public humiliation, adultery punishments that subjected couples to community-wide shaming. Let's begin with the most humiliating legal procedure in human history, medieval fitness trials, where your private capabilities became public record. Picture this: York, England, 1370. John Sanderson stands nervously in a stone-walled courthouse, surrounded by multiple certified examiners, scribes, and witnesses. Every reaction, every detail, is meticulously recorded. These aren't one-off spectacles, they were standard across Europe. If your spouse claimed you couldn't fulfill marital duties, failure meant losing your marriage, your dowry, and your social reputation. The examination chambers were designed for scrutiny: high windows, wooden benches for observers, and a raised platform for the accused. Certified inspectors, often midwives or trained medical practitioners, arrived in official attire, ready to assess, document, and judge. The process was methodical and brutal: hours of examination, tests of responsiveness, physical evaluations, and even rudimentary stimulation techniques, all observed by judges, lawyers, and sometimes the spouse's family, who had financial stakes in the outcome. Some cases read like nightmares. John Sanderson failed after 3 years of an unconsummated marriage. Walter Deontay endured 3 invasive examinations over a month, failing each. Pierre de Franville, in 1450 Paris, succeeded only after consuming dangerous herbal remedies that could have killed him. The pressure was unimaginable, social ruin loomed with every failure, and many men risked life and limb just to survive the trial. Court records detail fainting, tears, and humiliation in agonizing detail. Context is essential. Marriage was primarily an economic and procreative contract. A union without potential children was invalid, and failure to perform was a legal violation. Women held surprising legal rights to marital satisfaction, and canon law provided mechanisms for annulment in cases of incapacity. Statistical evidence from major cities shows over 200 fitness trials per decade, with less than a 30% success rate. Entire family alliances could crumble over these trials, turning private failure into public catastrophe. And if fitness trials were horrifying, the ceremonial verification was even worse. In 1445, 15-year-old Margaret of Anjou married King Henry VI of England. On their wedding night, 23 nobles, clergy, and court officials crowded the royal bedchamber to witness consummation. The Archbishop of Canterbury blessed the union while the couple attempted intimacy for the first time. Failure would have invalidated a marriage that shaped nations. Even the rituals leading to the bed were humiliating. Brides and grooms were undressed by relatives amid songs, crude jokes, and commentary on the bride's fertility or the groom's prowess. Every step, every movement, was scrutinized, a grotesque combination of celebration and public shaming. Imagine your parents, priest, and employer watching your most private moment. That was a medieval royal wedding. Medieval intimacy wasn't just private embarrassment, it was social, political, and terrifyingly public. And this is only the beginning. Next, we'll uncover how bishops profited from controlling pleasure, making morality a public spectacle while secretly running entertainment empires. After the ceremonial undressing, couples faced a gauntlet of public humiliation. They were paraded through drunken wedding guests who threw objects for fertility or mockery, drank blessed herbal wine, and ate special foods, all while enduring commentary, jokes, and unsolicited advice. The bed was blessed, prayers recited, and curtains drawn, though often thin enough to reveal shadows and movement. Witnesses, sometimes dozens of nobles and clergy, were strategically placed to verify consummation. Royal weddings were particularly extreme. Catherine of Aragon's marriage to Prince Arthur in 1501 required 6 nobles to witness consummation. Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette's first night in 1770 was overseen by the Archbishop of Reims and court officials, taking 7 years of repeated, witnessed attempts before full union. Young brides like Margaret Tudor endured similar scrutiny, as legitimacy, alliances, and inheritance depended on proof of consummation. Sheets were publicly displayed, midwives examined the bride, and oaths were recorded. The Church amplified the pressure, insisting marriage was incomplete until consummated. Bishops ran entertainment empires and profited from adult activities, while medieval doctors prescribed sexual satisfaction as medical necessity to ensure conception. Contraception was dangerous, potions, animal membranes, and herbal remedies could kill. Medieval intimacy was public, politicized, and life-threatening, making modern privacy, reproductive rights, and safe contraception feel like unimaginable luxuries. Medieval love and intimacy were far more extreme and public than we could imagine today. Women desperate for love or security often turned to love potions, but these were not the romantic concoctions we might picture. Ingredients included human bones, organs from executed criminals, bodily fluids, and even menstrual blood collected under strict ritual conditions. Some potions required bones from unbaptized infants or fresh marrow extracted within days of burial. Women bribed gravediggers or stole corpses themselves, preparing ingredients meticulously with wine, honey, and specific herbs. Hair from lovers was braided or burned with incense, and bodily fluids collected after intimacy were mixed together to create complex magical brews. Moon phases and precise timing were essential, and Latin incantations, often mispronounced, were recited for ritual power. Dosages were carefully calculated, too little could fail, while too much could cause madness or death. Despite the danger, women pursued these potions because marriage could determine wealth, security, and survival. Adultery was punished even more brutally. In southern France, the guilty were subjected to la course, a ritualized public humiliation. Women led men through town naked, tied with ropes while the crowd whipped them, threw waste, and hurled insults. Routes often covered miles, with punishment stations at key locations. Court records show high death rates from injury and infection, especially among men, though women also suffered serious harm. The public nature of these punishments served to reinforce social order, punish sin communally, and protect inheritance and family structures. Intimacy in the medieval world was never private. Wedding consummations were sometimes witnessed to ensure validity, bishops profited from entertainment while preaching morality, doctors prescribed sexual satisfaction, and contraception was dangerous or lethal. Love, desire, and reproduction were deeply intertwined with social, economic, and religious systems. Grave robbing for love potions, deadly herbal concoctions, and rope-leash punishments reveal a society where personal desire was controlled and monitored by the community. Despite the brutality, these extremes highlight universal human impulses, the desire for romantic connection, sexual satisfaction, and control over fertility. Medieval solutions were shocking, but the problems were familiar: performance anxiety, relationship dynamics, and social judgment persist today. Modern society may not execute or publicly humiliate, but human nature remains the same. Privacy, medical safety, and consensual love are privileges we often take for granted. In the medieval world, every intimate act carried consequences, legal, economic, social, and spiritual. Reading about these practices reminds us how far we've come, and how fragile our modern sense of intimacy and autonomy truly is.